Good day, students. Last week we spoke about population and all the factors that influences how the population changes, how it increases, how it decreases. So birth rate, we spoke about death rate, we spoke about migration, everything that makes the population change. And we used your class as an example. What are some of the things that will make the population in your class change? And it will be the same for the population in general. So now we're going to continue talking about population, the people in the population. We're going to speak about how that population is developed. Okay? You are part of the population. How has the government gone about developing you? How does the government go about developing the population as a whole? Think of yourself in the next 10 to 15 years when you become parents. What are some of the things that you would do to develop your children? Some of you, or think about what your parents have done for you to make sure that you have reached to the point that you are today. They would have provided health care. You would do the same for your children. They would provide an education, which you're getting right now. The government does the same for us. That is how they go about developing the human resource. During this week, we will speak mainly about education and healthcare. But what is the human resource? The human resource is you. The human resource is the most important resource. It's more important than gas, it's more important than oil. You are the most important resource, the human resource. The human resource are all your skills and abilities, all your talents and your intelligence. All these make up the human resource. What are some of your skills and talents? Can you think of any? I'm sure you have skills and talents because we all do. So from my notes here, I'm just going to read what is human resource. Human resource are the human skills, abilities, and qualities when considered as a resource for the development of the country or as a business or for a business. Because you could use your skills and abilities to even open your own business or for a job, but also as a whole to be a productive citizen contributing to your society. People can contribute to the development and well being of their community, their country, and the wider world. People are more likely to be productive if they are healthy. Don't you perform better when you're healthy? Think about what's going on right now with COVID-19. Productivity may be down for a lot of people and a lot of organizations because persons are ill. So people, the human resource performs better when they are healthy. They perform better when they are well educated, like you. They perform and are more productive when they are creative, honest, and good at working together in groups. There are many organizations that contribute to the development of the human resource. The first organization, or the first group, I would say, that develops the human resource is your family. That's where we all began, in a family. I'm sure you would remember, if you think back, your parents would have taken you to the health center, made sure that you got all your vaccines that prevented you from getting serious illnesses. They would have ensured that you went to kindergarten and then on to primary school, and then now where you are now in secondary school. So your family is the first group that develops the human resource. Your school also develops the human resource because at school you're getting your education, you take part in extracurricular activities, and you socialize and you know how to behave in society. All these things you learn from school. The government is another organization that develops the human resource, contributes to the development of the human resource. And this is what we're going to speak about today. What the government provides by way of education to students that helps develop the human resource. Private sector businesses also contribute to the development of the human resource, and community organizations. Governments provide financial resources for human resource development in education, health, and many other areas. But as I said today, we're just going to discuss a bit about education. Human beings are born with innate skills, intelligences, talents, and abilities. In order for them to develop these characteristics, they must have access to education and educational facilities. Look at what is happening now. Our schools are closed, but the government ensured that school continues in an online fashion. Not everybody has access to internet or a device. They also provided for those students by ensuring that material is printed for them to collect at schools. Education helps us to release and develop these characteristics to their fullest. It helps us to become creative thinkers and to find solutions to problems. Solutions to the many problems associated with social and economic development, as well as to provide leadership necessary for good governance. Some of you all might become leaders in society, might be the next prime minister or president, ministers, leaders of organizations, leaders in your own home. We are hoping that education would ensure that you become good leaders. All Caribbean governments spend large sums of money on education to develop the human resources. Caribbean governments have realized that a well-educated population with people trained in a variety of skills is essential for the production of goods and services and the maintenance of a good standard of living. So now we'll dive in to some of the functions of education. What does education do for you? Think about it for a minute. What does education do for you? Some of the functions of education that I have here, it prepares persons to function effectively and meet the challenges of society. It facilitates the development of literacy and numeracy skills, also technical skills, which provide the foundation for further development. So like in our school, we have some students who start learning metalwork, woodwork, cooking, home management. Those are that they will get the foundation there, and they could develop those skills even later on, and that would help them to be productive members of society and also to make a living for themselves. Education, another function is it preserves, transmits, and transforms cultural norms and values of society. At school, you learn manners, you learn how to obey rules, follow orders, you learn about the hierarchy and to learn respect for your principal, vice principal, teachers, and even each other. not just the people in authority. You learn respect for each other as well. Another function of education is that it contributes to the intellectual, physical, socio-cultural, emotional, and spiritual development of individuals. It prepares you for the world of work. Education should facilitate the development of skills which are relevant to the world of work. So, when you go out there seeking employment, or even if you choose to open your own business, you would have some skills and abilities that you would have gotten from receiving an education that will help you in whatever field of endeavor you choose. Education facilitates upward mobility, meaning if you're not as rich as you want to be, you can become rich or comfortable by using your education to help you gain financial security by getting your job or opening your own business. And with that, you move up the social ladder. A good education often becomes the means by which individuals, through employment, acquire wealth, which facilitates movement up the social ladder. It facilitates the development of coping skills, which help people to function more efficiently in the world of work and in their daily lives. It teaches you patience, teaches you about hard work, because you know that many times when you have your projects or tests that you have to prepare for, it's not easy, it's hard work. So the hard work that you do now, it develops that practice and work ethic in you that helps you with your endeavor later on. Either you become an entrepreneur or become an employee in someone's business. The role of government in education. Across the Caribbean, government attaches great importance to education. It is evident from the following. Greater attention is being paid to early childhood offering to sorry greater attention is being paid to early childhood offerings to facilitate greater readiness to receive primary education. In Trinidad, we have early childhood education centers that's provided by the government, free of charge to citizens. So students between the ages of 2.5 to 5, they attend kindergarten provided by the government, and this is they have locations all throughout the country, so students could access early education at any one of those points. After after early childhood education, kindergarten as you know it, you go on to primary school, which is also free of charge. Of course, we know that there are paid private schools, but most of us went to free government schools or a school run by religious bodies, but it was free to your parents, right? Primary school, primary education is free to most primary school students. While in school, you receive school feeding programs that provide breakfast and lunch to children in need in some countries. In Trinidad and Tobago, we have a school feeding program that provides breakfast and lunch. Some governments give book grants, and some provide books free of cost. And of course, you know we have a rental scheme where you use the books provided by the government for the year, and then you return those books and get a new set of books for your following year. And students coming in after you would get the books that you returned. That's like there's a school book rental service that's provided by the government as well. All this contributes to the development of the human resource. Some countries have achieved universal secondary education with grants for books and other materials. Some of the other materials that some another benefit that you have gotten through education is free school transportation. The government provides maxi taxis and buses and pays those operators to bring students to school free of cost. Free of cost for your parents. So they don't have to pay for that. That is paid through taxpayers' dollars. Tertiary education also is subsidized by the government. You know, we have GATE where students can get some or all of their fees paid by the government depending on their need. The government provides education, adult educations for adults who did not have access to education when they were younger. So there's still time, even as an adult, where persons can get an education and also have their skills and abilities developed, their natural skills and abilities developed. The government provides scholarships to persons who want to pursue tertiary education. Some governments are placing greater emphasis on the education of individuals with special needs. So not everyone is not left behind. Even persons with special needs are taken into consideration to make them more self-sufficient, employable, and independent. And the last thing that we're going to do is the levels of education in Trinidad and Tobago and throughout the Caribbean. But you know it already because you've passed through some levels already. Early childhood, as we spoke about, that's from 2 to 2.5 to 5 years old. Then you go into primary school from 5 to 11 or 12. Then you took SCA exam and you came to a secondary school where you are now. And of course, some of you all will go on to tertiary education at 18 years and over. So that's it for today, where we spoke about the where we spoke about education as a means to develop the human resource. Our next class, we're going to talk about healthcare as a means of developing our human resource. So I'm encouraging you to continue looking out for more lessons, and bye for now.